As always, really appreciate that. So let's just continue this conversation and welcome in the Executive Director of Concerned Veterans for America, John Vick, as well as co-founder of Prescient Intel and former CIA Senior Field Officer Raymond White. Gentlemen, happy to have you both on. John, let me start with you here. So after that historic summit in Beijing between Xi Jinping and, of course, President Trump, the focus is now really returning to the situation in Iran. Last week, President Trump, he did take the topic with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The question I have for you is, can we expect China to help strong arm Iran at this point into some kind of peace agreement with the United States, really given that they are Iran's largest buyer of oil?
Yeah, well, the good news is that China agrees with us, right? That a militarized or toll-based Strait of Hormuz will never be acceptable. There isn't a country in the world that believes that Iran should be within spitting distance of a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately the Chinese are pragmatists. They want to buy Iranian oil, but also anybody in power can sell Iran that oil. So I think that they want access to the Strait and they want less drama. And so insofar as they need the Iran war to stop as soon as possible, I think we should be partners on that.
Yeah. Raymond, Senator Lindsey Graham went on the Sunday talk show saying it is time for U.S. military action to resume in Iran. Let's take a listen to that.
You are saying you think these negotiations have hit a wall.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you saying, Senator, that you think it's time for President Trump to resume military action against Iran?
I think you can't get a coherent answer from Iran because they can't be coherent. I think they're so disheveled now. They're so weakened. They agree to things, and the next day they back up. President Trump's very frustrated.
As we know, Iran is just completely untrustworthy. Do you agree with his statement there, Raymond?
Yeah, I think Senator Graham is spot on. Good morning, Alex, by the way. Yeah, I think this week we're going to see a doubling down of effort. The United States, when we use our kinetic force and our powers and our strategies and our economic stranglehold on the Iranians, then they respond. When they're able to negotiate, then they get the upper hand. So I suspect that the response Iran hands us in the coming period is going to just be more of the same. President Trump clearly running out of patience. And I think you have these two opposing forces that are probably going to collide this week. And it's basically, we'll probably see some kind of kinetic love tap or something a little bit more, perhaps, that's going to move Iran into action.
Yeah, and John, coming out of that soundbite, I saw you shaking your head. And as Raymond was just kind of saying there, President Trump is really warning Iran that the clock is ticking. They're kind of running out. And the ceasefire is coming to an end. Will he hit them harder if they don't come to the peace deal? How much time, realistically, do you think that Iran has left to make some kind of a deal?
Days. But I think at the same time, Iran has been flailing for weeks now.
Yeah.
At the start of this conflict, the first 3 benches of their leadership were taken out.
Yeah.
And so I think that, it's interesting to imagine what is happening in Iran. But I imagine that there's a conflict over who is going to lead and who's going to make these kind of choices, but they need to get on the horse fast.
Yeah. Raymond, I would love for you to kind of expand on what John was just talking about. And the Iranian leadership, again, we haven't really heard from the new leader. People are questioning, his health at this point. What do you make of the leadership in Iran right now?
Yeah, so I think we're down to a bit of a conflicting period right now where there's multiple forces within the government vying for power.
Yeah.
The IRGC clearly in charge. They're the primary entity that's there to preserve the regime. As long as the cardboard cutout Ayatollahs, a cardboard cutout, I guess, then they're employed. So they're going to definitely keep that going as long as possible. I suspect he's probably dead, and it's just a political tool that they're using. But ultimately, I think Vahidi, who's in charge of the IRGC, if he plays ball this week, then life's good. I think if he chooses not to, I think we may see one of the impediments removed from the chessboard. But that's just a guess.
Yeah. And, John, let's go to the Strait of Hormuz. Those China super oil tankers that have been really stuck in that strait for weeks now. They're kind of beginning to get through, according to new reports. What does this signal to you? I mean, is this a positive sign for the full opening of Hormuz and the rest of those stuck oil tankers at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not an ideal situation. I mean, it costs millions of dollars to escort oil tankers through the strait. But again, I think the precedent is what we're trying to establish right now, which is that however this ends, whenever this ends, it's not going to be a situation where you have like a toll-based Strait of Hormuz. And that goes back to, again, the leadership situation. And, you know, we can't have people charging to go through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, and that's what Iran originally, you know, since day one said they wanted to make a little money out of this.
Yeah.
And President Trump said, absolutely, that is not happening. John Vick, Raymond White, gentlemen, great conversation this morning. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Alex. Have a great day.
All right, a whole lot more to cover.